the next thing I know, I'm flying. My family has no history of aviation whatsoever, and I needed to find that fix. I wanted to break the mold and just try something that no one else has done. So when I started looking into aviation, I started online, just trying to look around, find people that taught paramotors, finding schools, emailing people. Every time I'd find someone to talk to, it was the same thing. This is how much I charge. If you want to show up, show up. But that's fine. It wasn't that big of a deal. But when I met Chris, I messaged him on Facebook, and immediately just started talking to me about paramotors. He just kind of asked like what I want to do, what's my goals, any aviation background. It was more not like, hey, how much money do you have? It was more like, if you really want to learn this, let me tell you what it's about. So I was sitting at home one night, and I got a message from Chris, and it says, hey man, I know it's last minute, but we're going to have beautiful weather next week, and it's going to be perfect for flying. He goes, if you can make it, and if you can't, I understand. Wife was okay, work was perfect with it, and I messaged Chris, and I was on my way. It was time to fly. So day one, we're out on the airfield. First thing we learn is unpacking the wing, learning how to, which way's up, pull it, how to get your risers out and nice and straight and no tangles. Then he teaches us how to get the wing up in the air. That is the hardest part for sure of learning how to paramotor, is just learning how that wing works. Chris was very, very patient with us for sure. But it's hard. It's hard. You get that wing up and you think it's perfect, and then it drops to the ground. And then Chris would come over and he would run over and he would spread it out and he'd tell you, that was great, just keep trying, and he'd give you a couple tips, and just all day long, just getting that wing up in the air, controlling it, getting underneath of it. Learn how to, reverse launch and then turn around and start running, how to forward launch and pull up ahead of you and keeping it, directly ahead, not too far back where it pulls you backwards. At the end of the day, Chris kind of sits us down at the hangar, kind of talks about what we did for the day, what we learned, what we did wrong, what we did right. So the next day we all show up, a little windy, but it was perfect weather again, and we practiced kiting all day. I was getting the hang of it. I was able to keep the wing in the air for a couple minutes. I was able to, do reverse launch, spin, run, stop, turn around, control the wing, bring it down nice and gently, and I was feeling pretty good. So the really cool thing about Chris is he doesn't push you to do what you don't feel comfortable with. He'll make suggestions and he'll tell you how he feels about the situation and what he thinks that you should do, but he will not force you to do anything that you do not feel comfortable doing. And he says, how do you feel about putting a motor on your back? And instantly I was just like, holy crap. To me, I didn't feel like I was ready, but I didn't feel like it was going to be the scariest thing in the world either. And Chris said, he goes, listen, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But I'm letting you know that I feel comfortable in your skills, that you will be able to get off the ground and land safely. So I said, all right, Chris, I'm like, if that's how you feel and you know that I'll be okay and you talk me through it, I'm like, let's do it. And he says, you know, you're not flying now. Just keep that in your mind. You're not gonna fly, you're just gonna kite. Get that wing under control, and if that wing does get in control and you're feeling comfortable with it up in the air, that's when you're gonna fly. That's when you're gonna start adding power. I wasn't scared, but there's a lot going on through my head. What am I doing? I'm gonna get in the air, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you know, and I pulled up that wing when I was just harnessed in 100 times before that perfectly. But now that I had that motor on my back, it was a whole different ball game in my head. So I pull the wing up the first time and then my mind just goes blank. And I forget which brake to pull, I forget which way to run, and the wing just comes down, I shut it off, you know, and Chris is like, what's going on? I'm like, you know, and I told him, like, it's just a lot in my head. And he goes, no, I understand. He goes, take a break, take a breath, you know, and then he sits there and calms me down, talks me through. He goes, you know, you got this, you know how to do this, you've done it 100 times. And I was like, you're right. So I pull up a second time, and the wing kind of gets up there, and I start freaking out. I'm like, oh no, I could fly it. And then the wing falls, and I'm just like, and it's a mental game. I didn't realize how it's not just the technical part. It's keeping your mind clear and knowing what to do. So I put the wing down the second time. Chris talks me through it. He goes, just relax. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. We can wait till tomorrow. And I said, no. I'm like, I'm going to give it one more try. I'm like, but this time I'm going to tell myself I am not flying. I am just kiting. I'm going to get that wing up in the air, get it centered, and whatever happens after that, I'm not going to worry about until it happens. He goes, all right. He goes, let's do it. So, third try, pull that wing up, and the wind shifts and it starts going sideways on me. You know, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm not flying, I'm just kiting, and I know what to do. So, you know, I pull that brake, I get underneath the wing straightens out, and then I hear power.
More power, more power, more power. Giving him more power. Don't let off, more power. More power, more power. Good job, good job. Excellent. Hang on there, yeah. Give me a left turn. Keep that power in there, left turn. Roger that. Roger that. Nice. Beautiful. Lift your knees, wiggle your butt. Come on around the pattern. Alright, slowly start to bring that power back in. Maybe. There you go, right there. Okay.
I'm in the air, you know, and it was amazing. It's a feeling that can't be explained unless you actually do it. You know, and the whole time Chris is in my ear and he's telling me what to do, but I can hear in his voice he's just as excited as I am. I'm in the air and I'm just screaming and I'm laughing, and it's the most amazing thing in the world. But in my intercom I hear him down on the ground laughing and screaming and clapping, and you know, and it was just an amazing experience. And you know, I come around, he tells me to do a low pass, and I come down and I see everyone, you know, all his older students are down there watching, you know, and I go back up and he's still excited. But then he says, all right, let's bring it in for a landing. I come down and he goes, I know you got this. Like you've done it with a toe, you've done it in your head, you know how those brakes work. He goes, just come down and use those brakes as you feel you need them. So I did. I just went off what I learned. I went off of what I know I should do. And I came down, I got close to the ground, I flared the brakes, I had a little bit of a side wind that turned me, but I handled it. And I just landed. I landed on my feet. It's like a scene out of a movie where like everyone's coming with their arms up in the air, screaming, laughing, jumping up and down with you. Like that happened. That was a thing. That happened, you know, to me on my first flight. And all these older students are like, holy cow, like that was an amazing landing. It was an amazing flight, an amazing takeoff. It was my first one ever. You know, and I was never scared. I wasn't like, it's chaos, but it's not scary at all. I knew what I was supposed to do. I knew how to handle the wing. I knew what the wing did. I knew how to land, and it just worked. You know, and I feel like that could have only happened. Well, I know that could have only happened because of Chris's instruction. He loves to teach. He loves that experience, and he loves to just get everyone he can into the sport. And he was more excited than I was. We came back to the little huddle area and had a debrief, and he just gave this whole speech, and he's jumping up and down, and he's like, you know, this is what he lives for. He lives for that experience of teaching new people the sport and getting new people into this community, into this, just into aviation. And this is all he ever wants. And it's pretty amazing. Like, one of the other students says, he goes, dang, Garrett, he goes, I think Chris is more excited than you are. And he was just excited. We shared that excitement, and there's no other school that I feel like I could have went to that could have been like that. Chris is a great guy. He's got great equipment, and he's got a great teaching ability. My name's Garrett. I learned to fly with Predator Paramotor.
There you go.
Engines off.
All right. Ready to run? Brakes as needed. That was a nice one. Restart it. Hands up, keep running. Hands up, keep running. Get it. Hands up, keep running. All right, turn around, face it. I was gonna have you just restart it and there we go again. That's okay. We got multiple people going on here.